What's up, guys? This is GilFX here, back with a brand new video. This time I'm doing a review on the newest Magic Pack, but first I would like to say this. I claim no ownership for any of the pictures or information in this video. All but one of the pictures were taken from the official Wizard website, which will be in an annotation right over this link. Also, I'm using Microsoft PowerPoint 2010 to do this presentation, so if you wonder about that. Anyways, yes, Avacyn Restored is the next pack coming out in the Innistrad block for Magic the Gathering. This pack will be the final pack of the Innistrad block, and right now we're like one day into week 2 of spoilers. But I'm going to be doing all cards that are in the card art gallery right now, giving my opinions on how I feel the cards are. This is what I think. And also remember, I don't have the best idea of Standard, but I do have a pretty good idea watching some YouTube videos myself on gameplay, and have a pretty good idea of what could be good and what couldn't be good. Anyways, this is the first pack. It has Avacyn on front. Next pack has Griselbrand, which I can explain the story to you a little bit once we get to the actual card, but this is going to be one of the pack arts. We don't know what this is. It's just a random angel right now. We don't know the name of the card yet, but yeah. This one I'm going to explain a little bit later, but yeah. And one of the angels. Not anything too special, honestly. Anyways, the 5 intro packs in this pack are Angelic Might, which is the white-green. Solitary Fiend, which is blue-black. Slaughterhouse, which is black-red. Fiery Dawn, which is red-white. Bound of Strength, which is green and blue, and that's it. The Fat Pack, usual contents. One thing I'm questioning right now, now that I'm looking at this picture a little bit better, is that I see no flip substitute cards with the stack of lands. I figured they'd at least show a little bit. Maybe it's just too early to spoil that right now, but I'm wondering if they're going to keep the flip card mechanics. Give me a second while I take a drink of water. Alright, but as usual, 9 packs, 2 deck boxes, a card container, a dice, and I think either 70, 80, or 90 lands. I think it's 80, usually, and I think the Innistrad box so far has been 70 and then 10 flip cards. Now I think we're going on to the cards. White spells. First one, I did skip one. I'm going to go to it after this, but we've got to get to the main card of this pack. Avacyn Angel of Hope. For 5 colorless and 3 whites, it's a legendary angel creature, mythic rare. Flying Vigilance, Avacyn Angel of Hope, and other permanents you control are indestructible. And it's an 8/8. I have mixed feelings about this card. I mean, yes, Flying Vigilance and makes everything indestructible. That is amazing. But it's an 8-drop, which is really high. I think that's even higher than Elish Norn Grand Cenobite. I think that one's a 7-drop. Which gets me to my point where I don't think this will be used too much, but if it does find a place somewhere, it's probably going to be in the 5-color Reanimator or Frights Reanimator. Just because it's a high-cost, really good card. That's my opinion, like I said before, but I think if it's not seen in a Reanimator, it won't see too much play whatsoever. Next card, which is the first card in the list, is Angel of Jubilization. It's for 1 colorless and 3 lights. It's an angel, rare, flying, and other non-black creatures you control get +1/+1, and players cannot pay life or sacrifice creatures to cast spells or activate card ability. Well, activate abilities. I'm sorry if I get stumble over my words. And it's 3/3. This isn't going to see too much play. I mean, I don't think it's necessarily bad. I just don't think it'll do too much. And one more thing I just thought of is that remember that this is before all the spoilers are released. There might be some stuff to make this all better, but for right now, I'm just not seeing this being used. Next card, which is not in the first week, but early second week, is and I just decided to do it now, and I'll just skip it when I do next week's review, which I'll be doing weekly reviews until the pre-release. So keep that in mind and check back for the videos. But this one's Cathar's Crusade for 3 and 2 lights. It's an enchantment, rare. When a creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. I like this. I find it to be a really good card, but as with my complaint with Avacyn, its mana cost is too high for it to be usable, I think. Once again, I can be wrong. Keep that in mind, because I'm just going to stop saying it from here on out. But I think the mana cost is what really kills this card. Herald of War. Now, this is pretty cool, because it is a pretty dang good card, and this is the main card of the white-green intro pack, which the name kind of escapes me right now, but it is the cover card. And it's pretty good if I say so myself. Might not see a lot of use, but it's still pretty good. Herald of War for 3 colorless and 2 whites. It's an angel. It's a rare card. Has flying. When Herald of War attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it. And angel spells and human spells you cast costs 1 colorless less to cast for each +1/+1 counter on Herald of War. This is pretty good, at least for a intro pack card. I like it. I like it a lot. I probably won't use it, but I think it has potential. That's all I have to say, but intro pack card, so it's easy to get. I think this has potential to see play. Now, here's one of the first cards that has 2 arts because of the pre-release. The one on the left will always be the regular art from the pack. One on the right will be the special art, and I'll try to say how you can get the special art, but this one I just completely forget. I'm sorry, but I forgot this one. I think this was one of the last ones I put in, so just kind of... Actually, I forget this one and another one, and I'll get to that in a little bit. But, Restoration Angel, for 3 colorless, 1 light. It's an angel, rare. It has flash and flying. When Restoration Angel enters the battlefield, you may exile target non-angel creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under your control. Now, this is a really weird mechanic. I forget what it's called off the top of my head, but like, I can see this being I forget what it's called. If I think about it or take the time to look it up, I will put it in an annotation between the 2 cards. But still, it's an interesting card. I think potential. That's what I keep talking about here. Most of these cards have potential. In this one, if the mana cost was lower, and I really don't think it needs that high of stats, I forgot to mention it's a 3/4, but you can see it right on the screen. I think if they could have made it even a 1/1, a 2-drop, and it would have been much better. That's my opinion, but I don't think this will see much play. But the ability is interesting just because you can have it dodge have that creature dodge, the target creature dodge stuff, such as Doomblade, Go for the Throat, burn cards, O-Ring. That's all I can think of off the top of my head, but still, that's quite a bit, and I could have been better, but the way it is now, it might see play, but it probably won't. And I'm gonna be doing this with all alternate art cards, saying which art I prefer. I prefer the I keep saying sneak peek because I'm thinking Yu-Gi-Oh! The pre-release promo. I like it a little bit better. I mean, the Black Winged Angel, I find that pretty cool. Sorry about that, I had to burp. But yeah, that was Restoration Angel. Here's a card that I absolutely love. As soon as I saw this card, I realized I have to get 5. Yes, I need 5 for a random reason here. Anyways, Silverblade Paladin is for 1 colorless, 2 lights. It's a human knight. It's a rare, and it has a new mechanic called Soul Bond. Now, if you read the card, it says you may pair this creature with another unpaired creature when either enters the battlefield. When either enters the battlefield, they remain paired as long as you control both of them. Now, creatures with Soul Bond, such as Silverblade Paladin, Soul Bond doesn't do anything unless one of the creatures has an ability that has to do with paired creatures. Like Silverblade Paladin, it says, as long as Silverblade Paladin is paired with another creature, both creatures have double strike. Yes. And it's a 2/2. So, I see this being used in a lot of decks currently using Mirian Crusader, because it's pretty much the exact same stats. They can both get double strike, and they can give a big creature double strike. I mean, really. Off the top of my head, I cannot think of Delver's other side, the flip side of it. Insectile Aberration, I think. Magic giving that thing double strike with like Sword of Feast and Famine, or Sword of Feast and Famine, War and Peace. I forget which one's better right now. But still, you can get that thing to insane. It's insane giving that thing double strike. It's insane giving just about anything big in this current format double strike. Honestly. One example, probably not the best example, but I'm going to say it because I think what I'm saying right now, the deck that I'm talking about, might just come back after this pack. If any of you remember Green White Humans from back in the start of the Innistrad block, where they use like Mayor of Averbrook, Champion of the Parish, and so on and so forth. Imagine giving a beefed up Champion of the Parish double strike. Because if you can get it off turn 1, if you can get it out turn 1, you can get that thing to insane power. Which is why I want it. If you know me, if you've been watching my Magic videos since I started, yeah, sorry about that. I've been wanting to build Green White Humans since the beginning. And I've had a deck list, and with the 2 recent packs being Dark Ascension and now Avacyn Restored, I've had to rethink my build, and this is definitely going in that build. I'm still going to run Mirian Crusaders, but it's going to be rotated out come October, so this will see play. I'm going to say that now. I think it will see play. Now, these 4 cards are like, there are other white cards that have been announced so far, but I don't think are going to be too good. Before I explain, let me take a drink of water. My throat keeps getting dry from this. A lot of talking. But anyways, I'm just going to go over them really quickly. Cloud Shift, it's the exact same thing as the Restoration Angel, only it's an instant form. So, it probably won't see play. If it does, I'll be kind of surprised. But yeah, Gold Knight Redeemer. I just found out about this card today while I was making up this video. Flying, it's a 6-drop. That instantly makes it pretty bad. When Gold Knight Redeemer enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life for each other creature you control. There's not much that you need to restore your life for. I mean, a lot of old white spells that I've seen restore life, but there's no reason to run this, honestly. It's a 4/4 flyer. Honestly, with that mana cost, you're like 1 or 2 off from Avacyn. You're better off running Avacyn. It's not worth it. Emancipation Angel, 1 colorless, 2 light. Angel, uncommon, has flying. When it enters the battlefield, return a permanent you control to the owner's hand. Why? Well, I guess you could reuse flash cards, such as Restoration Angel and I think I messed up the name, but such as that and Snapcaster, but it's not worth it. I find it not to be worth it. But I mean, it has decent power for its mana cost. Hang on 1 second. My throat's killing me right now. But yeah, I don't find it worth it. Banishing Stroke. I'm going to get into this mechanic later. I'm not going to talk about it right now because there are much better examples of it in the next series of cards where I'm going to go over. But Miracle cost is one light, but its regular cost is 5 colorless and a light. It's an instant, and its effect is put target artifact, creature, or enchantment on the bottom of its owner's library. No. It's just not worth it. And now you can see my cursor, but oh well. Now we're getting into blue spells. I find the blue spells in this set really good too. Arcane Melee, I don't think this is going to see play, but it's got potential. There we go, potential again. But it's a blue, 4 colorless and a blue mana. It's an enchantment, rare, instant, and sorcery spells cost 2 colorless less to cast. There are not that many big enchantment or sorcery spells that are playable right now, honestly. And this has a big enough cost as it is. I mean, but I feel if there's something really good that comes out in the future that costs quite a bit to cast, this could see play in some sort of like blue-green mana ramp, I guess. Which mana ramp just might die depending on what they put in Core 13, because Primeval Titan, Viridian Emissary, etc., etc. But like I've been saying, potential. Ghost Flicker, this is just, I wanted to do like a slide where there was cards that I felt weren't that good. This would have been in it, but this is about the only blue spell that I didn't want to talk about by itself. But Ghostly Flicker, 2 colorless, 1 blue, instant, common, exile 2 target artifacts, creatures, and or lands you control, then return those to the battlefield under your control. Actually, I'm starting to think it's Flicker. The mechanic might be called Flicker, but I don't remember for sure. This card, it has too high of cost for that, and no. Though, like I said, this could be used for reusing Snapcasters, which I didn't think about before. Now, next card, which I like, Latch Seeker. For 1 colorless, 2 blues. It's a spirit, uncommon, and it is unblockable, and it's a 3/1. It's like, I think it will be better than Invisible Stalker, unless you want the human support. But card on the left is the regular art. Card on the right, I think you have to make it either top 6. I'm pretty sure it's top 16 in pre-release. Either that or it's just a random drawing. I don't remember. I forget what it says. I know what the other. Oh, I forgot to say. Silverblade Paladin's alternate art is the buy a box promo. If you buy a box of Avacyn Restored, you will get that card, which I would consider, but I don't have the money for it. Otherwise, I would. But I'll just trade or buy packs to get the regular art. But back to this card. I see this as very useful. Yes, it's one more than Invisible Stalker, but it's 3/1 unblockable compared to Invisible Stalker being 1/1. My throat's killing me still. But this card I think will be amazing. Really good uncommon. Tandem Lookout. We're back to the Soulbound cards, so I'm not going to reread the Soulbound text, but for 2 colorless, 1 blue, it's a Human Scout, uncommon, and as long as Tandem Lookout is paired with another creature, each of those creatures has, whenever this creature deals damage to an opponent, draw a card. I find this really good because, like I said, you could probably pair this with the other card from before, the Latch Seeker. You could pair it with that, draw a card when it's attacked because it cannot be blocked. You can attack with this, but it's just for the support and the pairing. So you might want to keep that safe. I think that's how Soulbound's going to be played, unless you can pump cards a lot. But once again, this card has potential as drawing. Temporal Mastery. This card, this is gonna be horrible, but Temporal Mastery for 5 colorless and 2 blue. Right away, don't get confused. Don't think this is a bad card because of its main mana cost. I think it's gonna be really broken. It's a sorcery. It's a mythic rare, well deserving of it. And take an extra turn after this one, exile Temporal Mastery. I didn't read the Exile Temporal Mastery. I did not read that part, but still. Here's where the card gets broken. The Miracle cost is 1 colorless, 1 blue. You may cast this card for its Miracle cost when you draw it if it's the first card you drew this turn. With spells like Ponder, where you can rearrange the top cards on your deck, you can get this for its Miracle cost pretty cheaply. And if I remember right, Delver of Secrets flips when you reveal a instant or sorcery. I don't quite remember if it's or sorcery. I know it for sure it's instant. But if you run this in a Delver deck, you can play it for its Miracle cost, flip your Delvers. I mean, really. This card is going to be a big money card in this set. If you can get it, I think it will be a big money card. Delver will more than likely play this. I think. Like I said before, it's all my opinion. But still, I think this will be really good. Wingcrafter, hang on a second, is not a bad common card. It's 1 blue, Soulbound, Human Wizard, and as long as Wingcrafter is paired with another creature, both creatures have flying. Yeah, I think it's good, but it's not going to see a lot. I don't think it'll see a lot of play, just because you kind of have to protect it, and with I guess that's the problem with all Soulbound creatures, but especially since this is 1/1. I mean, There's stuff like Elishnorn still running around that can kill this really easily. Yes, that's true for all Soulbound cards we've looked at so far, but I feel like gotta weigh the benefit to the yeah, I'm having like a brain dead moment. Like benefit to like weigh the good and the bad. I feel the bad outweighs the good. Now we're on to black spells. I paired these two together because you'll notice that they're both demons. They both have very similar power and power, toughness, and mana cost. They both have flying, and one effect that makes them similar, which is why I paired them together, is that they sacrifice creatures. Demonic Taskmaster, at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice a creature other than Demonic Taskmaster. It's not worth it. I don't think so. Yes, it's pretty high power level, but having to get rid of all these a creature every single turn, no. Demon Lord of Ashmouth. When it enters the battlefield, exile it unless you sacrifice another creature, and it has Undying. This one, it has too high a mana cost, otherwise it could see play. And that's all I'm going to say about these two. Well, that and probably a lot of the demons are going to have to do with sacrificing creatures. Here's a big one, and this is where the story kind of gets interesting with this series. Griselbrand, if I remember right, he is the one who like cursed Liliana or something, and he was trapped in the Hell Vault with Avacyn and like all these demons and angels and stuff that are finally coming out of the set. The reason Liliana was in Innistrad was to free Griselbrand, from what I understand. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is how it goes. Give me a second. Okay, now I'm going to skip the mana cost for a second because there's a lot of things that just make this card a huge troll. Now, it's a legendary creature, it's a demon, it's a mythic. Flying lifelink. Now, this is where it gets trolly. Pay 7 life, draw 7 cards. It is a 7/7 creature, but its converted mana cost is 8. Yes. They couldn't have dropped it 1 to keep the 7/7/7 thing going. But, yeah. Once again, I think this is going to be doomed to the same place where Avacyn is, in that it will, in standard, it will probably be used for Reanimator, if at all. But, I'm not too, sorry about that, guys, but, I'm not too informed on, other formats, but from what I understand, Legacy format, you're, like, you choose, no, Commander. You choose one creature to make your Commander. I think it has to be a legendary creature. You can make Griselbrand your, Commander, and, yeah. I need to get moving on, because this is taking way too much time. I'm sorry. Harvester of Souls, here is another good intro pack card. 4 colorless, 2 dark disenergies. It's a demon rare. It has Death Touch, and whenever another non-token creature dies, you may draw a card, and it's a 5/5. This has potential. All these cards have potential, I think. This might be another one of those cards where its mana cost kind of kills it, but I think it will find its place in a deck. I think so. If not, I like it at least. Now, here's the next card, and if I remember right, the promo version can be gotten if you make top 8. I might be confusing that with the blue card, which I continuously forget. But anyways, this card is Killing Wave, and I like it. I like the effect. I think it's gonna give black the killing power it needs once Black Sun Zenith rotates out. But I haven't even read the effect yet. So Killing Wave for X colorless and 1 darkness. It's a sorcery, so that hurts it a bit, but oh well. And it's a rare. For each creature its controller sacrifices it unless he or she pays X life. If you're on the bad end of the game and you draw into this, you can pay quite a bit of mana, make your opponent either pay a lot of life or kill their creatures, and then you can come in with something, and you either have a blocker for whatever they... I was gonna say then you have an attacker, but unless it has haste, there's nothing you can do. But I see this card having a lot of potential. Especially, here's another thing. If you only control 1 creature, you can pay the life, and then if your opponent controls a bunch of creatures, they have to choose what they keep, or if they even want to keep anything. So, it might see play. That's all I'm going to say. That's all the rest I'm going to say. Red spells. Bonfire of the Damned for 2 X colorless and 1 red. It's a sorcery, mythic, and it deals X damage to target player and each creature he or she controls. And its miracle cost is just taking away one of the X's, so it's 1 X and a red. This is going to be pretty good, I think. This might help red come back a little bit. Red hasn't seen too much play lately. I don't want to say it will come back for sure. It might help it come back, along with another card we'll get to towards the end, and the next pack after Avacyn Restored and Core 13. I don't want to say the name because I might spoil it for someone watching this who doesn't want to get... Like, you're already getting spoiled about this pack, but I don't know if you want to not be spoiled about the next pack. If you go to the Magic site at the beginning of the video, then you will see ads for it, no doubt. But, something might bring red back, and this will help boost it along. Reforge the Soul for 3 colorless, 2 reds. It's a sorcery, rare. Each player discards his or her hand and draws 7 cards, and its miracle cost is 1 colorless and 1 red. I think this will see play in the Reanimator decks, because if you just have a dead hand, you can refresh it, and you're also disrupting your opponent because they might have big creatures they're storing up for later, or they might have a mana leak in their hand. So at that point, if they have the mana leak, they have to choose whether to, like, if they have a crappy hand and they have a mana leak, and you play this, they know you have stuff in your hand you want to get rid of, or that you don't need. And they have to decide between either keeping their crappy hand or wasting the mana leak. So this card I think will see play, if for no other reason than the miracle cost. Next card, Stone Right. It's for 1 red. It's a human shaman uncommon. Has soulbound, and as long as it's paired with another creature, it and each of those creatures has, for 1 red, this creature gets +1/+0 until the end phase. Oh, end of turn. End phase, yeah, okay. Good 1-drop, but it's going to be overshadowed by another 1-drop coming on this set. Hang on 1 second. My one thing is that might just see play in, like, you know, like kind of like a wolf, oh, never mind. I was gonna say once Wolf Run, rotates out, but this is in the same block. So yeah, this doesn't have much use, but I think it has potential. There we go, potential again. Thunderous Wrath for 4 colorless, and 2 reds. It deals 5, well, it's an instant, uncommon, and it deals 5 damage to target creature or player. Miracle cost is 1. That is the big thing. That alone, I think, gives it a lot of potential. Miracle, I think, is a really broken mechanic. I would dare to say it is the infect of the Innistrad block, because I know a lot of people who complain about infect being broken, and maybe it's just them. Maybe it's not as broken as it seems, because I mean it's not topping anything. But I think you guys get where I'm going with this. And I just noticed this card has no flavor text, so that's a bit odd. I don't know if the other miracle cards had flavor text or not, but I just now noticed that. Weird. Vexing Devil. This card alone makes the Soulbound guy useless. It's a 1-drop Devil rare. When Vexing Devil enters the battlefield, any opponent may have it deal 4 damage to him or her. If a player does sacrifice Vexing Devil, it is a 4/3, guys. A 4/3 1-drop. That's insane. That is insane. I'm not saying it's necessarily broken. It's borderline, I would say. But it's another card that's going to help Red kind of get back on its feet. Not get it on its feet, but help it get back. Zealous Conscripts. I keep needing water. For 4 colorless and 1 red. It's a Human Warrior rare, and this is another intro pack card that I think is pretty good. It has haste, and when it enters the battlefield, gain control of target permanent. I think my voice cracked a little bit. But gain control of target permanent until the end of turn. Untap that permanent, it gains haste until the end of turn. Permanent! That's the key. Take control of target permanent. That I find that amazing. That alone makes it pretty good, but once again, its mana cost kills it. I think you'll see little to no play because its mana cost is converted mana cost is 5, which is sad because I find this to be a really good card. Apparently, this is similar to one of the cards from one of the previous intro packs. I want to say it's from like the Eldrazi format. I don't know exactly what that format was called. Maybe Zendikar? Like it was a format with Eldrazi's, I think. It was only target creature. You take control of target creature. And it had flying, no haste. So, I wouldn't say it's never going to see play. It's not going to see any play whatsoever. It'll just see very little to no play. Very little play, if any. Now, green spells. Mixed reactions on this. I have like some good ones, some bad ones. Craterhoof Behemoth. For 5 colorless and 3 greens, it's a beast, mythic rare, has haste, and when it enters the battlefield, creature you control gain trample and X plus X plus X until the end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. Mixed reactions on this one. I think this is gonna stop. Like I said before, there's a lot of cards suffering the same fate as Avacyn and Grizzlebrand, where that if they see play, they're only going to see play in a Reanimator deck. And I'm kind of thinking if they do see play in Reanimator, it's not going to be until Scars of Mirrodin rotates out of the format, because Elish Norn makes it tough to compete. But I mean, it has potential. Especially since green can mana ramp. I didn't think about that until now, but it can ramp up your mana, so it can be easier to get out, I guess. but and it can target itself, so it's not bad. Okay, this card I kind of like, but it's kind of for my own reasons. Descendant's Path. For 2 colorless and 1 green, it's a rare enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a creature card that shares a creature type of a creature you control, you may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Otherwise, put that card on the bottom of your deck. I don't think this is going to see a ton of play because there's not too much that, for 1, plays green, and for 2 has that is based around creature types. I mean, if it was black or blue, well, I'd say more black than blue. Zombies could play it because they're all zombies. Once again, if it was black, I guess vampires don't see play, but they could play it, I guess, if they ever became a good deck. But I think its main curse is that it's green. I could see, just by the way it's designed, it could be a white card, which would have made it a lot more useful. But here's my thing. Like I said before, I would like to run green-white humans. This will see play in my final version of the deck, I'm pretty sure. Because they're all humans, I can get a free human out, start pumping a champion a little bit more, and like my bigger creatures, which the biggest creature I'm going to run is going to be a 3-drop, but still, I find this pretty good, but I don't think it will see too much play. Revenge of the Hunted. At first I just thought it was pretty bad, but then I thought about it a little bit more, but I'll get into detail on that once I read the card off. It's 4 colorless, 2 green. It's a sorcery rare. Until end of turn, target creature gets +6/+6 and gains trample, and all creatures able to block this turn do so. And its miracle cost is 1 green. Now, I don't think this will be too useful once Scars rotates out, but until then, Infect. Green Infect has like really low cost creatures, such as the Elves card. I forget the name off the top of my head. Glistener Elf, I think. I don't know, but something like that. I remember the old combo when we had No, it was the 1-drop plus gives creatures +3/+3. I'm thinking Gigantic Growth, but that doesn't sound right because I'm thinking that's the 2-drop +4/+4. I don't know. One of those. If you get the Glistener Elf or whatever it is out turn 1, end your turn. Next turn you can set down another land. Tap it for there's a card. It gives +2/+2. Landfall. It would end up giving +4/+4. That makes it a 5/5. Gigantic Growth or whatever. It's for 1 mana, so you're boosting it all the way up to 8/8 right there. Then Mutagenic Growth makes it a 10/10, and that could be a game right there. This makes it a lot easier to get game if you can get the miracle. Like, yes, it would be. You would need a really lucky draw, really lucky, or some way to manipulate your top card. But I can see this seeing play because your opponent, if you can pull this off so early, your opponent's only going to have 1 card to block you, 1 creature to block you with at most. You're going to have Trample, and it's not going to be that big of a card because it's only going to be a 1-drop. It'll be a 7/7 unless you boost it up with Mutagenic Growth and that Landfall card. This could help Green Infect, I think. But maybe that's just me being stupid. But, kind of unmentionable card, like unimportant cards. Druid's Repository. Enchantment, when you When a creature you control attacks, put a charge counter on it. Remove a charge counter, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. We have Birds of Paradise right now. This won't see play. Unless you need that much mana ramp. Hellgeist. It's a 6-drop, so that makes it horrible right away. Creatures with power less than Hellgeist power cannot block it. That makes it kind of cool, but not worth it to run with such a high cost. And it has Undying, which, once again, pretty cool, but not worth it. Joint Assault. It's 1 green, instant, common, which target creature gets +2/+2 until the end of turn. If it's paired, it gets another +2/+2. Oh no. If it's paired with a creature, the paired creature, both it and the creature it's paired with gets +2/+2. So no, just no. Nightshade Peddler, soulbound, and then as long as it's paired with another creature, both creatures have Death Touch. Has potential. I think it's a really good common, but I don't think it'll be too much play. Though it's something to consider, I guess. It's a pretty low drop for green. Multicolored spells. There are 3 of them confirmed so far, and they're all angels. Spoilers. Bruna, Light of Alabaster, for 3 colorless, 2 whites, 1 blue. It's a legendary creature, angel. Mythic rare, Flying Vigilance. Whenever it attacks or blocked, you may attach to it any number of auras on the battlefield, and you may put onto the battlefield attached to it any number of aura cards that you could enchant from your graveyard and or hand. I'm sorry guys, I got really bad burps, my throat's bothering me. But this video is pretty close to done. Probably another 5-10 minutes. Auras are not that good. The only good ones are Angelic Destiny. That's the only one I can think of off the top of my head. There is that insect giving one, but it says ones that you can cast. Wait. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that you can put onto the battle. That you may put any number of enchantments on the battlefield, and you may put... Okay, maybe you can use that infect one. So it's an option, but is it worth it? I really don't think so. This is probably going to be the most useless of the angels. And of course it's probably going to be the one that I pull, so yeah. But Flying Vigilance, that's pretty cool. Now here's one that I really like. For 4 colorless, 1 red, and then 2 whites. Legendary creature, angel, mythic, flying in first strike. If a source would deal damage to an opponent or a permanent an opponent controls, that source deals double the damage to that creature or opponent instead. Pretty good so far, right? Helps red again, but having to play white is kind of hurting it a little bit. Now, here's where it gets kind of cool for like mirror matches, where if this card were to see play, like if you can get this out first, it will help you a lot. If source would deal damage to you or a permanent you control, prevent half that damage, round it up. So yeah. Oh, and it's a 5/5. So yeah, flying first strike 5/5. That's pretty good right away. Cost is a little high. You could probably make it into like a burn reanimator. I keep talking about reanimator. Yes, I like the deck idea, but a lot of the high costs, just I don't feel they're worth casting unless you can like reanimate them. And we have a good reanimating card for the format. I mean, Unburial Rites, that's pretty good, especially since its flashback cost is white. And so many colorless, and you'll be running white in this kind of deck. I can see this being used. I honestly think it will be used, even if it's just some sort of gimmick deck. Like, yeah. I don't think it'll be top tier, but I think it will be used. This was the first angel that we saw, and I think it's up there with the last one. Sigarda, host of herons. 2 colorless, 1 green, 2 white. Legendary creature, angel, mythic, flying and hexproof. Spells and abilities your opponent's control cannot cause you to sacrifice permanents. And it's a 5/5. So pretty good. I remember people like my friends were saying that this would have been good during Eldrazi because of Annihilator. But since we have it now, maybe it'll see play in Legacy. I don't know how Legacy works, if it even runs Eldrazi's or what, if people actually run any kind of Eldrazi deck, but it has potential, I think. Maybe I'm thinking that maybe a sideboard card for green-white humans if it does come back. I know I keep talking about it when it's not really that amazing of a deck right now, but still, I mean, gotta think about it. Artifacts, there's 2 right now. They're confirmed, but one of them's pretty good, one of them's meh, usable maybe. Angel's Tomb is the meh, usable artifact. Well, 3 colorless. It's an uncommon artifact, like it says. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may have Angel's Tomb become a 3/3 white angel artifact creature with flying until the end of turn. I don't think it's worth it. Maybe some sort of artifact deck, maybe Tezzeret? But why? I don't see a reason to run this. Let's leave it at that. Though I would love to be proven wrong because I think it's a cool idea. Moonsilver Spear. The one on the right is the promo you will get for entering the tournament. And I think it looks pretty cool. I prefer it over the regular art. Just because I was gonna say because the rainbow on the cloud looks pretty cool, but I think that's just their way of showing that it's foily. And you can see the little like Avacyn mark on the behind the text, which is pretty cool. I don't even know if that's really called the Avacyn mark, but it has to do with Avacyn, I'm pretty sure. Anyways, the effect is, well, it's a 4 colorless artifact equipment. It's a rare. Equipped creature has first strike. Pretty good so far. But whenever equipped creature attacks, put a 4/4 angel creature token with flying onto the battlefield. Equip class 4. I find that pretty cool. Especially if you pair it with Geist of St. Trapp, I think it is. Once again, I'm talking about all these cards that are going to be rotated out come October, but October's a good ways away, I guess. Like, you can get 2 angel tokens out attacking. I see this having a lot of potential. And possibly Legacy, too, because they do have, I forget what it's called. It's like a 2-drop. You can pay so much to put in I don't even remember what it is. If I think about it, I'll probably put an annotation somewhere, but if not, then I'm sure someone will know what I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure for so much mana, it equips a card. It equips an equip spell. Well, equipped spell. I don't know how else to put it, because I'm thinking Yu-Gi-Oh again, but put an equip card onto one of your creatures. It used to be really big, like really good card. Back with like Jace the Mind Sculptor, if that helps. If someone wants to tell me in the comments, just go ahead. But I think this card has a lot of potential in quite a few formats. Empty Slide for a random reason. Lands. Okay. Desolate Lighthouse. Plain land, tap it to add 1 colorless to your mana pool. For 1 colorless, 1 blue, 1 red. and tap it, draw a card, then discard a card. This is only the first of these kind of lands to be revealed by the magic site. I know there is a red-white one coming, and I forget exactly what it does, but I saw like a Spanish version of it, I think. But anyways, this card, blue-red isn't gonna, it doesn't have too many different possibilities. The only thing I could see it maybe played in is flashback deck, like Burning Vengeance, flashback, but it has enough draw cards with like Think Twice, Desperate Ravings, Faithless Looting, and etc. This will not see too much play, if any. Here are the new Plains art. I really like them all. I love the art on these cards. They're just so amazing. Like, if you go on the site and look at the articles, you'll find one that compares these to the original Innistrad art lands, and these are much better. Here's the island, once again, compared on the website. All the lands are compared on the website, so check it out. Remember that the link to the magic site is at the very beginning, so go check that out. Swamps, once again, pretty cool. Mountains, and forests. Now we're getting into the big stuff, the Planeswalkers of the set. There's only 2 confirmed so far. I don't think there will be, but maybe one more, if any. But here's the first one, Tamayo, the Moon Sage. At first, well, okay, I'm just gonna get into this card. For 3 colorless, 2 blues, it's a Planewalker, Tamayo. It's a mythic. +1, tap target permanent. It does not untap during its controller's next untap phase. That's pretty good. I like that. Not really much else to say about that. For its -2 ability, draw a card for each tapped creature target player controls. That only is helped a lot by its +1. I could see some sort of like gimmick deck running like Gideon's Lawkeeper, Avacyn's Pilgrim, I guess, and then this make like a white-blue tap stall deck, I guess. I could see it happening. Interesting idea. If I pull any of these, I might try it, but I'm not going to go out of my way to get these. But its -8 ability is pretty cool. You get an emblem with, you have no maximum hand size, and whenever a card is put into your graveyard from anywhere, well, yeah, is put into your graveyard from anywhere, you may return it to your hand. I thought it was only when a card is discarded, but yeah, if your opponent, if you want to use a blocker, like a cheap blocker, you get it back to your hand and you can use it again next turn. You can use stuff like Snapcaster and Delver, maybe. Now, this all sounds great. Oh, and it's loyalty, I think that's what it's called, is 4. Now, this all sounds like a great card. My only question is it worth it for such a high mana cost? I mean, I don't know. 5 seems kind of high, even for such great abilities. But I don't think, like, I remember seeing a video, Counterbob8. If you check his review on some of the spoiler cards, this card was one of the ones he said that he would have to see it in action to see it being played, like, to say it's good. I kind of agree with that. I think it's good, but I want to see it played before I say it's amazing. You know what I mean? Like, playable in this format. I have mixed feelings about this card. Let's just leave it to that. Now, the next one I find is really amazing. It's, like I keep saying, they keep trying to give Red a boost, and what they need is, they're getting close, but I don't think they're quite there. I'd love to be proven wrong on this one. My first deck involved Red, so I'd love to see it good. But let's just get on. But I don't think it will, and let's just get on to the card. Tybalt, the Fiend Blooded. if you look at the articles again, you can see that they were debating on. They wanted to make a two drop planeswalker, and since they already have a crap ton of black planeswalkers in this in the Innistrad block, they have a green one already. They have a partially white. All that was left was blue and red. They kind of outweighed like the two drop reds to 2 drops blues, and they decided on this, and this is what came out of it. And they ended up making a blue planeswalker anyways, so yeah. Its +1 ability is draw cards and discard a card at random. Not bad, but the main thing here is that it's a 2-drop so far. -4 ability, which I don't like that it's -4. I mean, it feels like it has 2 big final abilities instead of 1 plus ability that gives you a small boost, 1 minus ability that gives you a little bit of a bigger boost, then a huge cost that just game changing. But for -4, Tybalt the Fiend Blooded deals damage equal to the number of cards in target player's hand or to that player. I don't find that ability worth it. It might just be me, but I don't find it worth it. Especially since most of the first minus abilities that you have, like you can play them right off the bat if you needed to. Like Garruk Relentless. Though the kind of idea behind that is to use. No. What am I thinking? I'm thinking. Ignore everything I just said about the Garruk. But you get what I'm saying. I don't feel like that ability is good. But the last ability is, oh my goodness. For -6 loyalty, gain control of all creatures until the end of turn. Untap them. They gain haste until the end of turn. From what I understand of this, any creature that you have on the field will still be untapped and gain haste. Then you take your opponent and do the exact opponent's cards and do the exact same thing to them. They have no blockers. That's amazing. But it takes a while to charge up. It takes 4 turns, which I think this will see play, but I think it will see play. That's the point. I think it's pretty good. Especially since it's a 2-drop. I mean, can't go wrong with a 2-drop planeswalker. I mean, really. Anyways, I think I have one last card, and this was not confirmed on the Magic site. It's the Champion of the Lambholt, and then you see Champion of the Parish, and I'll explain why. But this card is not on the Magic site yet. I found it on a forum called Yu-Gi-Oh! Card Maker, as weird as that sounds. I do check it out for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff, but then I also check their other card games forum to look through the Magic stuff, and I found this. I'm not sure where they found this card, and if anyone knows, I'll put a link in the description or right here to that page, well, to that site. But Champion of Lambholt. It's for one colorless and 2 green. It's a human warrior, and it's a rare. Creatures with power less than Champion of Lambholt's power cannot block creatures you control. Well, oh, I thought it was just it. So that just makes it better. Last scope of water, promise. Well, hopefully. And whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Now, the reason I think you can figure out why these are comparable right here and now. Champion of the Parish, it's a human just like it. It was from the original Innistrad pack, and whenever another human enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Champion of the Parish. Now, they're both 1/1. They both get +1/+1 counters, but Champion of Lambholt is higher mana cost, but it prevents your creatures from being blocked as long as as long as your opponent doesn't get something huge, as long as this thing gets charged up, which it probably will. Because any creature you bring out gives it a +1/+1 instead of just humans. Now, I'm going to make this kind of a question of the day kind of thing, question of the video or whatever. Which one do you think is better in humans? Well, okay, I'm going to say in general, or in humans. Say for both. I feel champion. I think I'll run both. More Parish than Lampholt. Okay, I need to slow down for a second. Since this is not on a Magic site, I cannot confirm this is a real card. Perhaps somebody made it, put the symbol on it, and yep, yes, it could be fake, but I doubt it. It will probably be confirmed within the next week or so. But I like it. Its high cost does kind of make it a little bit bad, but I think I hope it sees play. But yeah, tell me which one do you think is better, Lampholt or Parish, in general. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching. I will do next week's video, and I will get it out like Saturday, and then the last one will be probably the Friday before the pre-release. So hopefully you enjoy. Hopefully I didn't ramble on for too long. I probably have an hour video right now. But yep, that's it. This is Gale Wolfex signing out, and peace.